Intensify and candidates continue to woo and convince the electorate on their choices in the much anticipated 2023 general election in Nigeria. Some stakeholders are focusing more on protecting the nation's democratic processes from those who may seek to circumvent the process. The Bimodal Voters Accreditation System (BVAS) gets a vote of confidence as a device to detect any fraud in the process. And House of Representatives and other stakeholders have raised alarm over constant attacks on INEC facilities, describe the incidents as attacks on Nigeria's democracy. Also, the program will take time to track the campaign promises from the podium and also report on expectations from the gallery. Also on political updates today, the courts have brought down the gavel with telling impact on the status of some candidates. Find out who is affected. I'm Fisai Ogunfuyi. Welcome. This week, the House of Representatives expressed concern over the staggering 41 cases of arson on INEC facilities recorded in 14 states from February 2019 to May 2021. The House condemned the attacks, which it says are capable of disrupting the forthcoming general elections in the country.
The issue was raised by Representative Olariwaju Ibrahim Kule. In the motion, he recalls several attacks on INEC offices across the country, including those recorded this month.
10th November 2022, the Independent National Electoral Commission offices in Abuja South Local Government Area of Ogun State was set ablaze. That on the same day, arsonists and thugs set ablaze the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC building at Okeresi at the South Local Government of Ogun State.
The lawmakers urged security agents to identify and prosecute the perpetrators as the House sets up an ad hoc committee to investigate immediate and remote causes.
Meanwhile, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu says in spite of the attacks on INEC facilities in some parts of the country, the Commission will not be deterred in conducting free, fair and credible elections in 2023. Professor Yakubu made his comment during a visit, an official visit to Ogun State. We'll bring you visuals of that in our subsequent programs. Moving on now, a civil society organization by the name Polling Unit Ambassadors has launched a full campaign against vote buying in next year's general elections. Part of the group's sensitization effort was a walk to key locations in the Federal Capital Territory.
Vote trading, one of the election malpractices, is of major concern as the 2023 general elections draw closer. It is a reality that continues to put credibility of election results to question. Perpetrators are evolving methods from time to time, and here are some Nigerians staging a major campaign against the menace.
With the BVAS machine that had been introduced, we know that most of the likely malpractices that would have come up, had been curtailed. But the major thing now that we are looking at that might be a very big problem in 2023 election, it's the concept of vote buying.
Sell your votes, sell your future. Say no to vote buying are the message.
We are saying vote for the credible candidates who can represent you, who will be there to work for you, but not to enslave you. Because if you sell your vote, you'll be at the receiving end.
It's a crime to buy, the crime to sell votes. Polling Unit Ambassador of Nigeria is policing that polling unit, and when you are caught, you go to jail for that.
The campaign is extended to the headquarters of INEC and the National Assembly, presenting the officers with a red flag, symbolizing its drive to monitor the practice on election days and ensuring the law places its part in curtailing the menace.
INEC will continue to collaborate with security agencies in identifying, arresting, and prosecuting both givers and receivers of cash inducement at the 2023 general election.
With its agents across the country, the group says it is ready to take the fight to the remote areas for the masses to be aware of the dangers of vote buying.
Let's go to some election adjudication now. The Court of Appeal sitting in Owerri has nullified the candidacy of Chief Emeka Atuma of the All Progressives Congress for the Abuja Central Senatorial election. The court, presided over by Justice Rita Pemu, ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to recognize Honorable Sam Onoigbo as the winner and authentic candidate of the APC primary election for Abia Central Senatorial District. Onuigbo will represent Kwano, Umuahia North and South Federal Constituency in the Ninth Assembly. Through his counsel, Mohammed Ndarani Mohammed, SAN, appealed to the earlier judgment of the Federal High Court in Umuahia, which recognized Chief Atuma as the APC candidate for the Senatorial District. Granting the prayers of Onuigbo, the appellate court upheld the legality of the party primary held on the 28th of May 2022, which produced Onuigbo having scored the highest number of votes cast. Now, in recent weeks, some key party primaries have come under the gavel of adjudication as candidates or aspirants contested the processes that led to nominations and affirmations at the state level. Sam Onuigbo, member representing Kwano, Umuahia North and South Federal Constituency, and as of yesterday, senatorial candidate of the APC for Abia Central Senatorial District, joins us today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir.
You've been sweating for a few months. It's all calm now.
It's very calm, and thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon, viewers. We have really been through this since June, and finally the Court of Appeal in Owerri has affirmed my candidacy, and I believe they put to rest the problems that we have had since the primary held. Because one thing that is very clear about this is that the primary was supposed to be between four of us: Senator Nkechi Nwogo, Chief Kesi Ubaja, Chief Enrico, and myself, Sam Onuigbo. However, on the eve of the election, Senator Nkechi Nwogo, in writing, withdrew from the race. Chief Kesi Ubaja, who was also cleared along with us, four of us were cleared by the party after the screening exercise, took ill that he could not come to the venue, and unfortunately, that sickness killed him. Just remained myself and Chief Enrico, and at the end of the day, I won. And interestingly, Chief Enrico, whom I defeated, has been appointed a Minister of the Federal Republic today. So it was really surprising, very, very bizarre, to see someone who ran for governorship, who was not part of the primary election, for him to just land from above like a UFO and start laying claim to the ticket.
All right, we've seen that the process has been long and challenging. Now you are back on the ballot.
Yes.
From the perspective of the politician, it's as if others have had a head start in this race. But are you in with a shout?
Well, fortunately, I've been on ground. I've been working with the people. Have followership that is steady, reliable, followership that is based on performance, followership that is based on my antecedents. So by His grace, all that I've been doing, working with this group and making everyone know across board, not just for APC alone, is by His grace making one feel very confident that as we go into the elections, by His grace again, I know that these people have made it possible for me to be the first person to be re-elected in Umuahia Federal Constituency since 1999, that they will not abandon me. They will vote for me, even up to the other section of Abia Central Senatorial Zone.
All right, let's we'll come back to issues of legislation and some of your passions, and of course things emerging in the political space. But let's take a few stories. Lack of internal democracy in political parties has been described as a major threat to the nation's democratic leadership recruitment processes. Now, the Inter-Party Advisory Council (IPAC) made the observation, however, commended the introduction of technology and the entrenchment of certain legal framework as major steps to ensure better electoral management as the nation approaches another round of general elections.
Elections in Nigeria since 1999 have been observed as not being perfect, although with gradual improvement. This summit, organized by the Inter-Party Advisory Council, is a platform for leaders of political parties to interface towards the peaceful 2023 elections.
The unfolding events and reports coming from different parts of Nigeria during this campaign period have started to show wrong signals that party leaders and their officials are already acting in violation of the peace accord.
political parties are cautioned to embark on campaigns devoid of violence. Former President of the Senate, Ayim Pius Ayim, and the Governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, are of the view that failure of democracy starts with the political parties, emphasizing the need for justice in the political parties.
The most dangerous threat to our democratic process is a situation where the political parties have become subservient to the actions or inactions of these leaders will have a direct impact on the success or failure of the forthcoming general elections.
Experts deliberated on the theme, political parties, elections and the consolidation of democracy, emerging issues and needed interventions in Nigeria. Some presidential candidates also attended the summit.
All right, to some presidential campaigns now. The presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has promised to create employment opportunities for Nigerians if given the mandate to serve. Bola Tinubu made the promise during the APC campaign rally in Yenagoa.
The campaign train of the Tinubu-Shettima ticket defied the showers of rains as large number of supporters turned out to receive their principal, whom they describe as a reflection of a renewed hope. The presidential hopeful of the APC, Bola Tinubu, said the vote for him will bring about development and reduce the unemployment level in the country. He particularly promised to tackle the erosion challenge which has washed away houses in Bayelsa State. Bola Tinubu called on Nigerians to vote wisely, guide their PVC and ensure that they deliver APC come 2023.
Vote for me. Will make your life better. Vote for Lagos and see what can make of Lagos. Lagos will improve.
Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipro Silva, who is the Bayelsa State Coordinator, said Tinubu is a great personality who has a track record and footprint as Governor of Lagos State, calling on Nigerians to give him the mandate.
You must vote for the man that will create works for you. You must vote for the man that knows the way.
Speaker, House of Representatives, Campaign Deputy Director General and other stakeholders pledged their unalloyed support for the Bola Shettima ticket.
It's true that this man has developed men and women of consequence in this great country. And no other man deserves our vote.
Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has pledged to set aside $10 billion to create jobs and empower women across the country if elected as president in 2023. These is said are part of his agenda while addressing party faithful at the PDP presidential campaign rally in Akure, Ondo State.
The Akure Democracy Park was filled to capacity as PDP chieftains, loyalists, supporters from the 18 local government areas of the state converged in high spirit to identify with the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, and his running mate, Ifeanyi Okowa. PDP party chieftains took turn to appreciate the people of Ondo State for their support, canvassing votes in the forthcoming February 25, 2023 general elections.
For you to be able to develop your own business. Atiku Abubakar is one man that I believe has the capacity, the experience to restructure Nigeria. He will unify the country and he will make life better for all of you.
The PDP candidate, Atiku Abubakar, said his visit to Ondo State was deliberate, as it was to appreciate the people of the state for their efforts during the 2019 election, as the state recorded the highest votes for PDP in the Southwest. Among his agenda for the people of Nigeria is to set aside $10 billion to provide employment for youths and empower women who are critical stakeholders in the country, and also fund the nation's education sector.
If you repeat the support again, we promise we will definitely deal with insecurity. We will eliminate it. We will also make sure that all the federal roads linking Ondo State with other parts of the country are made very vulnerable.
Ondo State is the first state in the southwest to be visited by the PDP presidential candidate.
Vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Dati Baba Ahmed, says contrary to what he called misinformation in the public domain, Mr. Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate, is wholly in support of oil production in the northern part of Nigeria. This was at a news briefing in Abuja.
29th September 2022. 18 political parties involved in the general election consented to a peace accord, giving confidence that the election season will be peaceful and issue-based. 2 months down the line, Vice Presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Senator Dati Baba Ahmed, is concerned that the verbal attacks on the Labour Party presidential candidate by opposing parties and calculated misinformation to disparage the candidate.
His Excellency Peter Obi repeatedly stated at various local and international fora that the greatest physical asset of Nigeria is the vast, rich land in the north. To the architect of consumption to production, oil in the north means more revenue for development, more jobs and opportunities.
Assassination of Victoria Chintex, Labour Party women leader for Kaura local government area of Kaduna State, is the height of series of attacks reported by the party against its members, and Senator Baba Ahmed is calling on the authorities to ensure justice is served.
Consequently, these attacks against us are likely only to increase. We must call on authorities to live up to constitutional responsibilities and on the general public to regard lies, misinformation and propaganda for exactly what they are.
The party is planning rigorous campaigns in coming weeks and is urging its supporters to get their PVCs and express their choices at the polls.
All right, that done now. We still have the member House of Reps representing Ikwano, Umaya North, Umaya South Federal Constituency of Abia State here, and it's also a senatorial candidate at the moment. But before we go to, leaving the politics aside now and going to issues of legislation, your passion has been climate change issues and all that. And you've been around the world in the recent weeks still propagating this issue. Next year again will roll by. What are your expectations in terms of deepening, some of the things that you have spoken about and the framework to make sure that there's better responsiveness next year?
Thank you very much indeed. There are clear indications that the nation is on the right path in tackling the challenges coming from climate change. For instance, I think the Climate Change Act, which by the grace of God I sponsored, has been put into effect. One, Mr. President has appointed the Director General to oversee the activities and then report to the council in the person of Dr. Salisu. And then we also have come up with the energy transition plans. So many other things that the government has put together to move us in the right direction. Recall that during the COP26 in Glasgow, Mr. President talked about meeting net zero by 2060. So if you check the provisions of the Act and the activities that the government has embarked upon, and knowing full well that the National Council on Climate Change has an overreaching role to play in ensuring that these objectives are attained, I have no doubt that by next year we'll make further progress in the right direction.
So flash floods and erosion and issues, this past few months, especially at the tail end of rainy season across the country. Would this lead to better responsiveness in a few short words?
There's no doubt about that. Like I said, we are creating the needed awareness. Yes, we cannot stop these things, but there are steps, actions that if we take them, they have the potential to reduce the impact. And that's the direction that the nation is going.
All right, finally, before I let you go, we have seen people mounting the podium and all that. In a few short months, everybody will go to the polls again. And, of course, it will be time for Nigerians again to put their thumb where their mouth is and just not, the vendor stand and in the social media. But we're getting to that key point. Is that affecting, especially you and your colleagues are also on the ballot in terms of lawmaking and attending all these sittings, because you also have your eye on getting the buy-in of your would-be, the electorate for your projects next year?
I think it requires a very serious balanced act, especially if you are serious about what you are doing. But one good news is that we have enacted the Electoral Act 2022, which now enables the electorate, the citizens. Recall, we often say that the office of the citizen is the most important office of the land because they make the choices using the power of the thumb. So we have made this possible to allow the citizens to choose from the candidates. It's no longer going to be XY party all the way, make it 5/5. Citizens have now been empowered to use the power of their thumbs to check antecedents, character, individual, capacity before they've cast their votes. And that way, those who are doing well and those who have demonstrated that they truly have come out to empower the citizens through the positions they are holding, they have nothing to fear.
What about the followers that still insist that bags of rice and salt must still come this December?
Well, these things no doubt will come. But I think the followers, after almost a quarter of a century of unbroken democratic dispensation, are now in a position to know whether to rely on a bag of rice or to rely on individuals whose election have the potential to impact on them positively, meaningfully, productively in the next 4 years and beyond.
Thank you very much. That has been Honorable Samuel Nwigbo of the All Progressives Congress. I wish to, of course, engage you still before the year runs out, especially when we look at the climate change sector as it affects Nigeria, of course. That has been the program for today, and that has been the program for this week. My name is Fisal Gupi. Thanking you for staying tuned. All the best. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Keep it tuned to the Nigerian Television Authority for news reviews, previews, and interviews, and always play your politics for the greater good. If I might bite from Honorable Nwigbo, this time don't use your fist, use your thumb.
Absolutely.